Carter, you were first, my dude. You made it. And made into cigarettes. Richard Strady just started a channel. Nice, that's awesome. Oh, I will have to check it out. I gotta tweet this craziness out. Live stream now. P-brain. Hey, Anthony. With the first dono of the night right out the gate. With 5 buckaroonies. Says, sup, man? What is up, Anthony? How art thou? How was your weekend? Is it Sunday? I don't know what day it is anymore. Joel coming out as a furry? Confirmed? Hey, everyone's known that for a while. They have known that I'm that guy at the furry con, dressed as a slug, dragging my slime across the floor. Which it, in and of itself, is, I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but it certainly is, it's a sight to behold. Everyone wants a ride. Is this stream sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends? It is not. I was sponsored by them in the past. I can't sit here and, the cum slug, yes. I can't say that I never was. The most terrifying threat in society that we known to man. The furry community. Ashley Marie with the 5 sub. Happy Valentine's Day. Well, thank you, Ashley. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Thank you, thank you. I've actually, like, I knew that it was Valentine's Day today, but, like, upon starting the stream, for some reason I never, like, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that it was a Valentine's Day stream, so... You guys, if you're feeling a little lonely, yeah, the stream is sponsored by Pornhub, where you're never alone. Well, technically, the actors are never alone, because you're constantly watching them. Trooper with the 2 says, "Love you, dude. Stay away from YifCon." Yif, YiffyCon. I will do my best. I think I can smell it in the wind right now. I've caught their scents. Follow my trail. Anthony with another 2 says, "I'm making 2 cakes for Valentine's Day." 2 cakes. One of them you can sit in, or are you just referring to your cake in general? That thick cake. Dundu Gush Bush. Joel, you got a Valentine? I do. It's you. It's all of you. All 182 of you. And any other varying person that wanders in here. I like to be in a non-monog relationship that involves hundreds of people at once. It's a little, just a nice tight-knit community. Nikki Newman with 2 says, "Happy Valentine's, Joel." Thank you, Nikki. Happy Valentine's. Welcome back. Sadie, how many stories tonight? We got 6. 6 terrifying FurryCon stories. And that's no cap either. No cap. No baseball cap on this one, fellers and fellettes. This is some spooky shit. And you don't want to miss it. We're all dating. Technically, yeah, we're all dating, and technically, based on history, we're all mildly related as well. So, seems like everybody's pretty open-minded. It's a furry hate video. It is not a furry hate video, no. It is not. It's just scary shit that happened at furry cons. Straight up. No Dr. Disrespect on this one. Though I'm sure that there will be one or two foxy jokes thrown here and there. Archon 1010 with the 5 says, "Hey, your weather is drunk on our lawn and acting belligerent. You need to come pick it up." Is that down in Texas? I know. I let out a real nasty fart and it just pushed an entire cold front down to North Texas, so enjoy that shit for once instead of your constantly nice fucking warm bullshit. Even though we still have it here, so it didn't go very far. I just kind of expanded the virus known as winter. Anthony with the 2 says, "Damn, I just broke a cake." You broke a cake. Fucking powerbomb that shit into the oven. Jaden, we will see here. You will see. Am I gonna say ooh woo and oh woo for us? Maybe, just maybe, I might say ooh woo and oh woo. Richard, you gotta re-record what I recorded today. I didn't like the audio quality. That's good, man. That's all you can do is the earlier aspects of someone's channels, you know, when starting a YouTube channel or what's podcasts or whatever you're gonna do, it goes through a lot of growing pains, and you know, you'll find your rhythm eventually. I'm still, you know, at 700,000 subscribers plus, I am still looking for that perfect audio. Sometimes I get a lot of random bullshit in the background that kind of like pisses off the perfectionist in me. Where'd the Pizza Hearts go? Yeah, where did the Pizza Hearts go? I don't know. Are they there? Oh, they're there. Boom, 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 boom. They should be there. I don't know if they're only available to like members or something like that. I'm not sure, but they should work. Snowing in Texas, yeah. How's that? Did you guys have to shovel? Have cars just exploded out of nowhere? Bathwater with the 5 Canadian maple syrup dollars says, "Happy V-Day, Joel. Thank you for suggesting the Black Mirror series during your last live read. I've been binge watching it since. Nice during curfew." Cool. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Black Mirror is a wet and wild one. It'll take you and challenge your mind in many ways, and who knows, you might be living in a real life Black Mirror as we speak, and you have no idea. But thank you for the 5. Hope you're staying warm up north. Can I do a KO Ken? KO Ken! Hogan! Kameyame! I won't finish that. I won't finish that sentence. I'll let you finish it as an ad-libs. Oh, Marcelo, don't say such mean stuff. Big boy. Snowing in Baton Rouge. Yeah, isn't that wild? What's going on? What's the Farmer's Almanac have to say about this one? 6 stories tonight. 6 furry stories. Guys, click that like button. That share button. Share it wherever you can, if you would feel so inclined. Always very helpful. Retweets and all that kind of stuff. Follow me on social media if you're bored. To always be kept up to date. But as you know, new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And new streams every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, tentatively. Thursday, or you know, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday nights. You got warmed up with the Kamehameha. that was supposed to destroy you. Your backyard's covered in ice. What are you gonna do? These are the kind of disasters, natural disasters that Texans and those from the South just cannot handle. You follow me. It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask from a lowly narrator like myself. Scary bruh moments next. Yo, that's a full-on countdown. We got that coming in. Hitting the bong, listening to Joel, about to do some yoga. Life is beautiful. That sounds pretty amazing. Yoga, dude, stretching, man, you feel good. You feel dang good. But it also is, you know, body weight resistance as well. So you get a little tone. You get a little tone action going. Love you, BB. Thanks, Van. Love you too. Randy Marsh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Oh, I'm sorry. I should make a scary stories. Yeah, I have to go like... Once I run out of content, once you guys stop having scary things happen to you, I'm going to have to just get out there and start spooking you guys myself. How was my day? My day was perfect. It was a grade A perfect day. I ate a meatball sub. In fact, I made out with it. Didn't just bite into it. I really savored that son bitch. You farted and thought of me. Thank you. Ram Ranch scary stories. Yeah. Things getting wild in the showers. What's my favorite meme? Yeah, what's your guys' favorite meme? There's so many damn good ones. I feel like well, go follow my meme page if you haven't already. You'll see some of my favorites there. At Horny Computer on Instagram. It is worth your time. Not for the weak of heart. Chat is amazing when Schick is here, by the way. Oh yeah. He keeps things popping. Mickey wants the meatballs. Roses are red, violets are blue. When I look at the toilet, I remember you. What's my fave holiday? Maybe President's Day, since it's tomorrow. I'm really excited about President's Day, and I'm really excited about... I got a big poster of Joe Biden in my room, and I can't wait tomorrow. I'm gonna give him kisses and feed him pudding. I cut a hole in his mouth, specifically just for pudding, no other reason. It's gonna be really, really chill. Conveniently, it's right around Valentine's Day too, so I'm feeling romantic. Steve Harrington with the 2 says hug Pradeep. I did. I gave him a lot of huggy hugs. He is currently not in the room right now. He's usually sneaks. Joel for Prez? I'm trying. I'm practicing. I'm practicing my speeches. Such as... I'm trying to think of a comparable story to Corn Pop. Something that's really going to paint me in a good, almost legendary light. What kind of pudding? Chocolate pudding, obviously. How do you not know Joe Biden's favorite pudding? Come on. Do you even consider yourself a constituent? Jeez. What did you guys do for Valentine's Day? Did you have kisses and smoochies and daties or was it just you in the hand for the 15th year in a row? If so, that's okay. I'm right there with you. Laura with the 5. Thank you, Laura, and welcome back. I hope you're feeling well. Rice pudding is really good, though. I do really like rice pudding. I can't argue with that. Imagine mixing rice pudding with chocolate pudding. No, don't even think about it. Unless you should use Happy Tapioca instead of chocolate pudding. All right. I will consider it. I don't want to upset the man, though. You forgot to write a message? That's okay, Laura. You can just at me anytime and I'll read it. Hopefully, unless I'm looking somewhere else. I'm looking over my shoulder. You never know. Just clean your apartment, but yeah, hand was my date. That's alright. The hand does not argue back. Do I like flan? Flan. Flan's like a pudding too, right? Rice pudding with Joel sauce. Mwah, chef's a kiss. Walmart has chocolate rice pudding. What? Walmart MVP? Most beloved company? Keeping all nursing homes well nourished? Your woman's in another state and I can't see her until next month on my B-day. It's kind of saddening just texting. I want to get her some flowers, take her out. Sucks, man. Yeah, long distance relationships are poopy. Unfun. You can't give anybody a pat on the forehead. Derp-a-derp. Per-deep-a-derp-a-derp. Get some Valentine's Day accents? Valentine's Day accents? Oh, like my hand argues back. Me psychiatrist and I are working it out. No. I need to hear it. Or I just can't do it. And I will be destroyed by the mob. I'll be eaten alive. Your fucking accents suck! Hey, there's Hawk. What's up, Hawk? Squawk? Squawk 1 in the building. Your foot's kind of swollen, so laying down. Thanks for being here. Nice. Be sure to do your hydrotherapy, if at all possible, as long as it doesn't interfere with any of your braces or stitches and all that kind of stuff. It really does help to get the blood flow going back and forth. A minute of real hot, a minute of real cold. And then a nice little massage afterwards. Maybe let the scars settle for a bit. Anyone see the movie Idle Hands? I've never seen it. Purple Bleeding Heart with the tense says, Happy Valentine's Day. Just started watching it. I love everything about it. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Purple Bleeding Heart. And welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you. It's a chill atmosphere here. No pressure. All relaxation. Non-stop. I saw this one funny animation channel. I can't even remember what it's called, but it was like they were doing their own. It's kind of like Meat Canyon a little bit, but it's not as much like parodies of like mainstream stuff as it is just silly cartoons. But one of them is like their ongoing show about like a food truck ran by clowns, and like the main clown's kind of insane, and it was just funny because it was like food truck. Welcome back to Food Truck Radio, where all we play 24/7 365 is Weird Al. And then the clown was just like, as you should. It made me laugh. Fucking Weird Al and his burger jams. Miss Molly with the 5 says, Happy Valentine's Day, my love. I hope today has been good to you. Love you. Thank you, Miss Molly. Same to you. I hope you had a romantic evening and day. I know a lot of people around the United States are getting a little bit of a cold front. But the Hawk is no stranger to the cold. But people down in Texas, man, that's like anything below 55 is igloo weather. And Cecil with a big $20 donation. Thank you, Cecil. No message to go with it, but if you do have one, please do. Please do at me. Anthony says, Alyssa just asked if she could have coffee and cake after waking up. Hell yeah. That sounds like the perfect Valentine's Day meal. Get caffeined up, sugared up. You could just give her a Monster. Just give her a Monster instead. And my friend Zane here with the 5 says, Happy V-Day. Also, I want to eventually become a director and animator, and I will not hesitate to hire you as a voice actor one day. Zane, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the consideration, and I am ready to audition for you at the drop of a hat. So you just tell me exactly what you want me to say, and I will do whatever it takes to get to the top. And wherever you're at in Hollywood, let's go. Let's go. I'll wear assless chaps. I don't even care. Cheyenne Dory Ba with the 5 says, I wish I could have a better day, but my anxiety has had other plans. I hope everyone else has had a lovely one. Well, hopefully we can bring you down here a little bit, Cheyenne. It actually is time to read some stories, so I want to appreciate all of you for being here, taking time out of your daily romance. Liz is celebrating a Vagina Day instead of Valentine's Day. That's fine. That's fine. Not weird. We all have different holidays, different cultures. I have to find my lip lube. What about Happy Lip Lube Day? Hashtag Happy Lip Lube Day. Never be without it. Especially now that it's cold in Texas, you guys are going to need some chapstick. Fluffy says, hi, let's read. How has your Valentine's Day gone so far? I only came here because I'm a furry myself, and overall I really love watching content. Thank you, Fluffy. You have to let me know if you recognize any of these individuals in this story. Some of them, I think about 2 of them, I noticed were cursory glance, were kind of like documentary in orientation. Other ones were a little bit more personal, I suppose, but it's good to have an authentic furry in the chat. But let's get it going. Which lips are we talking about here? Oh, I think every facet of lip. All right. Switching it up. Gonna dial it down a little bit. Bring you guys into Spooky Town. I know that's where you want to go. I know that's where you want me to take you. Jump in my van and we're gonna go to Furryville. Mina Giardi with the $20 Renos. Thank you, Mina. Says, do you cook, Joel? From time to time, you know, from time to time. I do enjoy the experience, but I like doing it with, kind of like with people. So I'll do it with my housemates here and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's like a little bit of an art form, but also it does take a bit of time. But what, are you going to cook me something? Are you guys going to cook me up something? Or are you just going to cook me up? Alright guys, dominatrix stories. Is that like Glitch in the Dominatrix? That'd be a good crossover. You're a furry whose name is Joel. Oh my god. Housemate stream. I don't know. It would just be me watching Charlie play Super Mario. Alright, like I said, we got 6 stories. Thanks for being here, guys. We have 400 folks in the building. Be sure to love each other, give each other welcoming kisses, handshakes, and hugs. Put on your furry suits because we're about to get slimy. And, yeah, remind me to record 10 seconds of silence before each story, just in case the fan has any varying degrees of woo-wooing that I can pick up and remove later. But let's do it. In early 2016, I was writing local event pieces for the Boston Globe. Generally speaking, I covered all the routine annual events that were held in Boston and the surrounding area. Things like, and someone's gonna have to count Fursuits, yes. Please don your fursuit. Because, oh, you know what? If you just wear your fursuit everywhere, you won't even have to wear a mask. Easy peasy. Honestly, why don't they have... Do they still have furry cons going on right now? Because those should be alright, you know? You wouldn't even need to maintain distances since you're pretty much in a hazmat suit already. Things like St. Anthony's Feast, the St. Patrick's Day parades, or the marathon. But every so often I got asked to cover something a little different. For example, one particular year I was asked to cover the live reenactments of the Boston Massacre and the Battle of Lexington that are held on their respective anniversaries. Seeing all those historical society guys in their get-ups was impressive, but the way they spoke and acted was like stepping back into a time machine. Truck Day is also pretty surreal, when a legion of die-hard Red Sox fans cheer for the team's equipment truck when it departs from... I ran out of breath, fuck. Truck Day is also pretty surreal, when a legion of die-hard Red Sox fans cheer for the team's equipment truck when it departs for spring training down in Florida. But the one single event I covered that sticks out most in my mind was something called Anthro New England in 2016, and was the second annual Massachusetts gathering of what are known as furries. For those that don't know, a self-described furry is some For those that don't know, a self-described furry is some... Oh, okay. I think I meant someone. Fingerless cat paw gloves? Yeah, easy peasy. Just go to the grocery store in your fursuit and you're good to go. Let's not forget to breathe. I'm trying. You want to get a kimono-style fursuit, but you're broke? That would be interesting. Take that to Japan. For those that don't... For those that don't know, a self-described furry is someone interested in the subculture of anthropomorphic animal characters with human personalities and characteristics. Examples of anthropomorphic attributes include exhibiting human intelligence and facial expressions, talking, bipedal mobility, or wearing human clothes. For example, their enthusiasm for such things and For most people, their enthusiasm for such things begins and ends on the internet, where a vast array of websites and forums cater to their rather unusual but benign tastes. After all, having fur, a snout, a tail or paws isn't a dream they can ever truly realize, but as I myself discovered in the spring of 2016, some aren't deterred by the fact that they're trapped inside of their fleshy, furless human bodies. The most rabid What did you see, son? Tell me. It was a furry. Sorry. The god of Pez with the 5 says, hey, listen, sending V-Day love to the Joel Patrol. Bye, Pradeep, some catnip. Joel, I demand an e-hug. Also, take a deep breath. Spinal. I know. Sometimes I just need to get some oxygen into the brain before I can continue on. And thank you for the 5. E-hug. Coming right to you. Nice and squishy. I actually recently bought Pradeep some wet food. And I'm like not really sure, like they're like 3-ounce cans, right? You know what I mean? So they're pretty small, but it's actually a lot of food. I mean, I can't imagine a cat like destroying all of that food, but it's also weird because you're like, I don't really want to like leave it out, you know what I mean? And I know I think you're supposed to refrigerate it after a while, but I just don't know like how long to leave out wet food or whatever, or if he's actually supposed to finish the entire can of 3 ounces. He also has dry food out too, but I don't know. He was just, his skin's been really like dandruffy lately, which is kind of, I guess not necessarily abnormal, but we were learning in the Discord from the in-house cat historians that cats get most of their moisture from blood, you know, from killing things. and they don't really drink a lot of water most of the time. Buy them cat mints, F cans. Cat mints. You'll have to tell me what that is, because I'm not super familiar. You wish they made canned pussy. Well, I mean, it's fish flavored. I don't know. Feed them in intervals. Okay. You can do that. When he gets done with it, I'll just pull it back out later or some shit. Megan Becker with the 5 says, got my first Let's Read sweater for Valentine's Day, and it's the very best sweater I've ever received. Thank you, and happy V-Day, Joe. Thank you, Megan. And thanks for buying a sweater. You'll have to post a picture either on social media and tag me, or on Discord there and tag me, so I can put that up on Instagram and Twitter. I always like it when people do that, so I can like promote the merchandise. Chef Mana says, Joe, I wrote a paper on you for my college storytelling class and got an A. Can I email it to you? You absolutely can. Thank you. That sounds cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, just put that in your, title or whatever, like the subject line, and I'll immediately be able to pick it out from all the other emails. Thank you. That's cool. The most rabid furries create or hire what they call a fursuit. A large, life-size costume with a helmet-style mask that covers the entire head and face. Then, with these often bulky, always colorful suits, they gather together for a weekend that mostly consists of fantasy fun. I say mostly because, from experience, I can tell you that not everyone who attends those conventions are there for innocent fun, and some don't take too kindly to people questioning their unusual inclinations. The convention was being held at the Hyatt Regency Hotel over in Cambridge on the weekend beginning January 22nd. I called the tea over on the Friday afternoon. I caught the tea. The tea? Like spill the tea? I caught the tea over on the Friday afternoon, only to find that there was an underlying theme to the already themed convention. There were plenty of so-called furries hanging around in their suits, but many had what appeared to be a sporting theme to their outfits. When I inquired, I was told that the theme that year was sports ball, which I assumed was a nod towards When I inquired, I was told that the theme that year was sports ball, which I assumed was a nod towards all the Super Bowl hype for the upcoming Broncos vs. Panthers game. The $25 entrance fees seemed pretty standard for a large-scale convention. And aside from the fact that most attendants were wearing all those furry suits, the convention felt much like any other. People from all over the country had descended on the Hyatt Regency. Is it Hyatt Regency? I assume, right? Hyatt, the Hyatt Motel. Regency. Okay, cool. Sports ball. People from all over the country had descended on the Hyatt Regency to share ideas, sell arts and crafts, or simply to socialize with people who shared similar interests. And for the most part, they were incredibly welcoming to outsiders. All except one guy, who took a great deal of offense to what was an innocent, albeit skewering, analysis of their costume capers. Shit, sorry, that was like a lot of fucking... That sentence confused me. Skewering analysis of their costumed capers. Fuck. Costumed capers. Dude, you know what's so fucking annoying? When you have, like, ad block, and every time you go to a website it pops up like, you should turn off ad block so we can show you stupid ads. How about you eat a pile of shit, random website? I'll turn on my pile of shit unblock her, and then you can eat it, right, guys? Okay. All except one guy, who took a great deal of offense to what was an innocent, albeit skewering analysis of their costume capers. On Saturday, the second day of the convention, I began to feel much more comfortable engaging with some of the attendees. I asked plenty of questions, all as politely worded as I could make them, and found out a great deal of information on one of the strangest communities of people I'd ever come across. Unusual, but mostly well-intentioned, that was abundantly clear. As much as I discovered... Lila, you got a question. What is good, my dear child? Your new go-to ice cream at Dairy Queen is Red Velvet Blizzard. Nice. I've been getting the Red Velvet fucking Dunkin' Donuts drink. I wonder if there's like a crossover. It's pretty damn good. Because I think they're out of the pumpkin spice bullshit. But the Red Velvet's actually much better. Much better. As much as I discovered a seedy underbelly of furry eroticism that tended to attract all the usual unsavory suspects, most of the convention eschewed what they referred to as not safe for work aspects of the subculture. But then one guy I was interviewing, who had to talk pretty loud for me to be able to hear him clearly through his head, had a question of his own for me. He wanted to know my genuine opinions on furry culture after having spent 2 days mingling with those who enthused over it. Now, I have always been brutally honest. I know how to use my vocabulary to soften the blow of a harsh opinion, but I'm not in the habit of lying to people. I told him that I could clearly see that the majority of the attendants had nothing but a wholesome interest in mascots, cartoon characters, and fantasy creatures in general, but that the whole thing still had an element of escapism to it. I believed, and still believe, that putting on those fursuits is an attempt to relinquishing the pressures and responsibilities of the modern world, and that generally speaking, anyone who wears a mask or a disguise in such a way is trying to lose themselves, so to speak, and in doing so, avoid dealing in acute... Interesting. Deshay with the 2 says, where will you be in Florida? Autobiography, I'll pay. Autograph. Oh, an autograph. Sorry, I thought it said autobiography. I just quickly read that. Thank you for the 2. I think it's Is it Key West? I think it's Key West. At the end of February sometime, into March. I think. I feel bad. I'm not organizing the trip. I'm just kind of like a goer, a longer. Noir H with the 5 says, Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're eating all the good food and chocolates today. I did eat a cookie. And a big old meatball sub. Fursuit making is an art form. I can imagine. It would, that's probably a pretty good business for if you're in one of those areas. I'm sure there's probably one guy. It's you know how there's that legendary sushi maker in Japan or something. He's a master of sushi making, and no one else can compare to his attention to detail and craftsmanship handed down from generation to generation. And I assume soon there will be a master fursuit maker, the greatest in the world. Even God himself would have to say that suit is quite soft and comfortable. God is a furry? Confirmed? Confirmed? Question marky? Question markical? What would God's fursuit be? Am I from Florida? I am not, no. I'm from Pennsylvania, but I'm ready to be in Florida. I got some friends moving down to Florida, and I'm a little jelly. I might end up following them down there if I continue to feel so inclined. Irene, you listen on Spotify. Nice, nice. I'm glad people are listening on the podcast. It makes me happy. God's persona is the Easter Bunny. Lol. That'd be fun. What if it is? It was the plan the whole time. A lamb. He is the Lamb of God after all. Oh my God, it's confirmed. And that, generally speaking, anyone who wears a mask or a disguise in such a way is trying to lose themselves, so to speak, and in doing so, avoid dealing with an acute mental issue or something more existential. He paused, then confessed to agreeing with some of my statements while disagreeing with others. What followed was an intense but civil discussion on the furry subculture and subcultures in general, one that eventually caused quite a little audience to gather. Much like my original interviewee, those that gathered accepted that they used the hobby as a form of escapism, but were quick to assert that it was just as healthy as any other kind of fandom, a good example being those that dress up as Star Wars characters and attend sci-fi conventions. I spoke to a variety of people during that conversation. Pretty much everyone who'd gathered wanted to set the record straight. All except one furry. A person in a black and white wolf costume who didn't say a single thing during the entire exchange. In a situation where everyone seemed to want to make their opinion known, this person was content to remain in silence. A silence that, in the end, was so deafening that I simply had to involve them directly in the conversation. At first, I thought I was just unable to hear the response through a combination of convention ambiance and their costume head, but as it turns out, they were giving me the silent treatment, just staring at me in what I understood to be an attempt at intimidation. I tried to ignore the awkwardness that followed, and a handful of his furry companions even apologized for his behavior, but all were quick to inform me that the black wolf was acting so standoffish because I'd made a shadow angry. Oh my God. Sorry. My nose is stuffed up. Lila, your first sona is a blobfish. Yeah, what's everybody's first sona? If you could have one. Anthony with the 2 says, Joel, be my Valentine. Also, let's do shots. I absolutely would. It sounds like fun. I haven't drank in a while, to be honest with you, and I always am good for like one night of drinking on like a vacation, and then after that I'm just like kind of fucked. Sorry. I don't know, like I can like hear, I know it's stupid, but I can like hear cracking in my sinuses because of fucking mucus. Like when I talk and shit, it like cracks, and sometimes my mic actually picks it up, which is annoying as fuck. What did I do before YouTube? And by the way, the podcast is dope. Thank Mr. Nuggets. Yeah, I was a healthcare provider. Max, yours is a fox. Nice, nice. Arctic fox and bat hybrid. Whoa. Yeah, you need to, I feel like with furries, it's like eventually you have to really start thinking out of the box with them. Oh yes, we all know what Hawk is. Hawk leaves his ruffled feathers everywhere he goes, perhaps an egg. I tried to ignore the awkwardness that followed, and a handful of his furry companions even apologized for his behavior, but all were quick to inform me that the black wolf was acting so standoffish because I'd made Shadow angry. Shadow seemed to be the nom de four of the... Nom de four? What the fuck is that? Nom de four. I don't think... Have I heard it? Is that a thing? Nom de four. Anthony with a 5, be my Valentine. I think, yeah, of course. How many shots would it take, though? That is the true question. Thank you, Anthony. Wait, did it... Nom de four... Oh, nom de fer. Oh, I see. It's like a play on words. What the fuck is... Wait. Because it's nom de... Nom de guerre. So there's normally a nom de guerre. A name chosen by someone to use when he or she is involved in a particular activity, especially fighting in a war. Oh, that's so funny. But it's nom de fer. Wow. That's big brain shit right there. What story are we on? We are on story 1 of nom de fer. Of their lupine friend. Lupine? Man, all these big words. This person needs to go on Reddit. Well, they technically are, I guess. Lupine, like a wolf. Wolfish, ravenous. Interesting. Shadow seemed to be the nom de fer of their lupine friend, and it was a nickname that suited his disposition. I'm not one to be intimidated by people. I have encountered my fair share of belligerence in my time as a journalist, and I am not easily unnerved. But something about this person and their costume had me unusually on edge. Maybe it was the odd combination of the aggressive body language and the goofy, happy expression on their fur head. Or maybe it was the fact that this person could see my face through the little mesh visor, and that I couldn't see them at all, and that they spent the next hour and a half following me around the convention center and looming over my every interaction. They followed me right up until the moment I left the Hyatt Regency too, and I know that because as I was walking through the parking lot, I looked over my shoulder to check for cars and saw the black and white fursuit of Shadow standing in the entranceway of the hotel. I start my write-up that evening, finish it on the Sunday, then I email it off to my head department. The article itself wasn't huge and only appeared on the Globe's website, but I still made sure to be kind in light of their generous and welcoming nature. I condensed my in-depth critique of the subculture down into the phrase harmless escapism and focused on the sports mascot side of things in an attempt to play to your average sports-loving Bostonian. The published article had both my name and Twitter handle attached to it, and over the next couple of days I started to receive some predominantly appreciative messages from furries that had actually attended the convention, as well as furries from around the country that had been unable to make it. But then one message was from This is interesting, what the fuck? Anthony with a 5 says, sorry, my phone isn't showing the super chats going through. Oh, sorry, Anthony, yeah. I feel like super chat's kind of wonky sometimes, but thank you. No worries. Imagine not giving sloppy toppy to the homies. I know, that'd be a terrible move. But then one message was from a user whose handle and display picture was immediately familiar. It was from Shadow, the person in the black and white whoops. Man, I have a tongue twister today. It was from Shadow, the person in the black and white wolf suit that had attended Anthro New England. I can't remember the exact wording. I only skim-read it before quickly moving to report and block the account, but the intention it conveyed was utterly chilling. Shadow seemed enraged that I had referred to his furriness as escapism. He explained that being that suit enabled him to be his true self, how neurotypical people would never understand. I remember that word because their message was the first time I'd ever laid eyes on it. Then came the threats, exotically worded threats regarding the obscenely violent things he was going to do to me for painting furries as perverted losers and loners. Their words, not mine. That was the only part that really made me want to respond, because I didn't think I'd painted them that way at all. I'd specifically worded the article to be as inoffensive as possible. But then Shadow wrote something that got to the root of why I found them so unnerving in the first place. They said I would never be safe, but I didn't know what they look like outside of their suit. When I'm hiding away in my skin suit, is the way Shadow phrased it. It was genius, really. As much as it was a terrible thing to say, an attempt to play on their paranoia, it was kind of genius. Because Shadow was right. I had absolutely no idea what they looked like. They could be my neighbor, or my Uber driver, or my freaking toaster repairman, and I wouldn't have a clue. That's the only part I found legitimately frightening. Like I said, I'm used to people taking objection to my profession, things that I've written, or my identity, but those people tend to make themselves known in various ways. But with this guy, I could be sat next to him on the T tomorrow and I'd have no idea. Shadow didn't get over it either. Never has. Every so often I get a DM or an email from some seemingly benign-looking account name, only to find it's somebody anonymously telling me how they're going to pull my eyeballs out of my head. Anonymous, but I know who it is, and they like it that way. This isn't an indictment against furries or anyone involved in the fandom in any way. I understand I just had an isolated incident with an unhinged... Sorry. Isaiah, hello, hello. Your uncle, don't do that. Human skin suits, yeah, that's a true furry. Imagine when animals start dressing up like us, wearing our skin. I understand I just had an isolated incident with some unhinged weirdo and that most furries are generally nice, even if they are a little kooky. But there are times I really wish I hadn't written that Anthro New England article because I feel like sometime soon, Shadow isn't just going to be content to send me messages or have things mailed to the Globe's offices addressed to me. I have a horrible feeling I'm going to run into them too, and that they're going to follow me home one night, and I'll never know it's them. Not until it's far, far too late. Well, that took a little bit of a I mean, it took a while to get to, but that was fucking weird. Hopefully it's not the toaster repairman. Yeah, where does one apply for the toaster repairman job? Walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah. Alright. Well, that was story one. I feel like it's a good one to start off with, too, because it kind of gave, like, a good... it's creepy, but it, like, kind of gave a good indication of... to those who are unfamiliar with the furry culture, I suppose, which I am. I am completely unfamiliar. Though I did have a friend from high school who got really into that and was kind of, like, used that as part of their photography major, like a big portion of that. All right. Okay, story numero 2. Anthony with the 5 says, "Get out of my head. I was just humming that 2 minutes ago." Oh, really? Walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah. Bing bang bang. Walla walla bing blah blang. Joel is very furry, yes. I don't even need a suit. My body is just covered in it.
Hey, listen.
I've been involved in the NYC furry scene for the past... Oh yeah, I forgot to record the 10 seconds of silence for background removal purposes. Would you rather... The wheels on the bus. Can you please say subscribe? Subscribe to CHYZ. There you go. Doge persona. Oh, Doge for suit would be amazing, actually. I might just join. I've been involved in the NYC furry scene for the past few years. My journey into furry fandom has been an incredible one. I've been to some amazing anthro conventions all over the country where I've met some wonderfully special people of all different ages, races, and gender identities. Each one was unique and special in its own way, and I wouldn't change a thing. But the convention that holds some of the worst memories for me is the one that was held in my home state during November of 2019. I don't want to name any names or anything like that. The last thing I want to do is shame anyone or end up getting sued or whatever. The convention itself wasn't even all that bad, and the organizers worked their tails off to make sure everything was as perfect as could be. But let's just say the setting wasn't exactly the wisest given our own unique niche. So, it was a cruise. The convention took place on a freaking cruise ship and consisted of 4 days sailing and 3 docked in Bermuda. A great idea on paper. Like, what could go wrong with a mix of convention and vacation, and all the while escaping the cold, rainy New York for the sunny Caribbean? But I don't think the organizers thought the whole thing through. It was 70 degrees in the shade on some days, and the weather in general made it unbearable to wear our fursuits. We had 2 cases of heat stroke on our first day in Bermuda. I literally watched a zebra girl named Bella pass out on the beach during a photo shoot. After that, all the costumes were made pretty bare bones. I mean, this is aside from the fact that it took like 3 weeks to get all the sand out of my suit. The beach was not so good an idea for a furry convention. This is on top of the fact that the local Bermudians, Doot 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 doot. Venom is me, and I am Venom, and I am hungry. Nice. This is on top of the fact that the local Bermudans just didn't understand what we're all about, and weren't very friendly as a result. But our community aren't strangers to abuse or controversy, so we didn't let people's closed-mindedness get us down. But the real disaster happened when we were on our way back to New York. Like I said, the trip had been something of a washout. A bunch of strangers spending a week together with very little to do had left people bored, cranky, and disgruntled. So on the first night of cruising back to NYC, a bunch of people decided it would be a good idea to get really drunk and go out onto the lounge deck to blow off some steam. It was getting kind of frigid outside, so a few of us saw this as pretty much the last chance to hang out in their fursuits. I can't say it. For some reason, fursuits is a tongue twister. Oh, the Lonely Island. That'd be kind of sweet. A video game about, like, furries on an island. I guess that's what... what the fuck's that game called? Everybody plays it. It's on their DS. Or, not their DS, their Switch. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is just a bunch of furries on an island. Alright. It was getting kind of frigid outside, so a few of us saw this as pretty much the last chance to hang out in their fursuits without getting heat stroke. I got a knock on my cabin door to tell me we were having one last hurrah, and I was only too happy to join everyone on deck to take a few photos of everyone in their suits. They looked absolutely amazing, but thanks to all the booze and high spirits, things got a little out of hand. Out of absolute nowhere, we all just heard this scream, turning to see a few of our number leaning over the side of the ship, looking down into the water. I remember just knowing what had happened as soon as I saw people looking down over the side of the ship, but I suppose I didn't just want to believe that it was true. The implications were heart-wrenching, but in the end, I had to face facts, especially when I myself looked down in the dark waters and saw something colorful splashing around. Someone had fallen over the side of the ship, and if we didn't do something fast, they were going to drown. I felt sick, like I just didn't know what to do. But thank God that there were people there who knew how to conduct themselves in a crisis. Someone probably saved their life right there when they threw in one of those orange floaty ring things. I can't remember what they're called, but boom. In a split second, someone had taken their head off and retched one of the orange things into the water while other people ran to raise the alarm. The whole scene was just chaos for a little while, with some people crying and others going into full-on crisis mode. And word quickly spread that the cruise had a man overboard. The cruise ship got in touch with some country's coast... Rip. I wonder, that'd be kind of interesting. The like DLC for Animal Crossing, do they have any like cruise ships you can go on and stuff like that? Someone took their head off. They took their head off and kept their head about themselves. The cruise ship got in touch with some country's coast guard and sent out one of the ship's own smaller boats to search for the person. They were later told that it was darn lucky that they were wearing such a colorful costume. A couple of more minutes in the water and they might not have made it. All was okay in the end. The person got rescued and the whole event brought us all much closer together. Relief was followed by more celebrations, only much safer ones this time, and we all ended up meeting again in the early 2020. And we all ended up meeting again in early 2020 before the whole pandemic thing happened. And thankfully, no one almost died that time. It was definitely the worst thing that's ever happened at a convention for me. Probably one of the scarier moments of my life, too. But it's definitely not made me shy about attending furry meets, as, like I said, you meet some amazing people. People you most definitely don't want to see drowned in the Caribbean Sea after falling off a freaking cruise ship. The suit's gonna be moldy, yeah, most likely. You're gonna have to retire that one after that experience. Shark bait, yeah. The shark's like, what the fuck is that thing? I ain't eating that. Or it's like, what the fuck, is that candy? What's a fox doing out here in the middle of the ocean? Ugh, furry meat. Furry meat up. Pirate furries pillage the furry cruise. I know, dude. Somali furry pirates? Holy fuck, look out. Ugh. You're gonna do a speed run on how long it takes to get banned. No, be careful. Start the timer. Don't do it. We need you in the chat room. Alright. Story 2. Furries in the books. The suit would straight up waterboard you. I know, right? That would be... Like, how do you... Yeah, you would almost, like, instantaneously sink or something. Would a shark actually know about foxes? I think that's something we'd have to ask the shark. Moop, the mini cow, welcome, welcome. Yep, we are live reading about furries. Who would have thought? Hi everyone, my name is Scarlet. I'm a female red panda and I use she/her pronouns. I have a story to tell that involves a visit to a furry convention in the UK called Confuzzled. But first of all, I feel like I need to set a few things straight regarding the furry fandom in general. Lots of different people have different ideas about what it means to be a furry, but generally speaking, a furry is someone who expresses an interest in anthropomorphic animals and creatures. They may express that interest in a variety of ways, through art and stories, to roleplay and performance. How deep or meaningful being a furry is tends to vary from person to person. For me, Scarlet, my red panda fursona, play on the words persona, is just a bit of fun that started with me drawing animal cartoons in my school textbooks. I felt cute drawing myself as an adorable little creature, and red pandas have always been my favorite animals, so it just made sense. I don't feel like Scarlet is the real me or whatever. There's nothing spiritual about my connection with her. But like I said, that can be very different for other people. Some furries believe they have a deeply spiritual connection to a particular animal, which is typically their persona and often say they are an animal in a human body. There are a million different aspects of furry fandom, and it's entirely up to you to what you believe. Not all of us are... Oops. Jen with the two says to go to treats for the real furry Pradeep. Yeah, Pradeep is a very devoted furry boy. Scarlet is a generic name for a girl. I don't think I've ever met a Scarlet in real life. My brother... Oh shit, dude, I forgot to record the silence again. You guys have to remind me. Just kidding, it's okay. Sarcastic Unicorn with the 14 Canadian maple syrup dollar says, evening everyone, and let's read. I hope y'all are having a great evening. I have a question. How often do you read for other channels? Not super often, unfortunately. I've been here and there in collabs more so in the past, but after I kind of found my own footing, after I kind of found my own footing with the channel, where it has had sort of like consistent growth, I've not really required the need for that many collabs, though I would like to do more collabs for sure. I feel like most of the collabs that people reach out to me about are to be on the channel. I'm usually pretty open about that and cool with it, as long as their audio quality seems doable, you know what I mean? I usually include them at the end if people want to check them out. Hopefully that gives them a little bit of a boost towards their channel. It doesn't always, but thank you for the 14. I appreciate it. And Maddie V with the 5 says, I'm just hopping in a huge fan, but please, Joel, don't do us furries dirty. I'm not. Hey, I think so far, I don't know what you guys think, but I think so far these are written by people who have either are furries or experienced the furry culture. And I gotta be honest, I think they seem to be representing them in a positive light, you know, like a very like they have the internal knowledge of what's going on there. So fear not. Dark Wolf Moons with the 10 says, I love listening to your videos while playing Dead by Daylight or before bed. Nice. We have a resident Dead by Daylight player in the Discord from time to time, and she seems to both love and hate that game. Unveiled Reality, Randy Marsh. Was that on an episode of South Park? Because I haven't watched South Park in a while. I feel like I kind of like... I haven't checked it out in quite some time. Why are you just getting exposures to furry through this channel? Well, that's kind of interesting. I feel like furries are kind of like present in a lot of like internet culture, you know, around the globe. You had no idea furry was a thing. Well, hey, opening your mind to a new world. Not all of us are attracted to anthro-animals, but it's a phenomenon that does actually exist, and we call those people furverts. But there's been a conscious effort over the past few years to create a clear dividing line between that kind of thing and the rest of the community. We don't want the smallest, seediest part of furry fandom to define us. But like any open and welcoming community, we have our fair share of bad apples, and I was unfortunate enough to run into one at a furry convention back in 2019. Sorry. Is Fleshgate, Fleshgate's the name of the animation channel you were talking about earlier? Flashgits? No, it's... I forget what it's called, to be honest with you. Sorry, I keep hearing like cracking in my sinuses, as weird as that sounds, and I feel like it's like literally getting picked up on my mic. Probably just like an OCD thing. But I think I remember like recording with like a stuffy nose before, and I could hear it in the fucking mic. And it's just stupid. Didi Cortez with the 5 says, I'd pay to hear you read Ted Kaczynski's Manifesto. Who's that? I forget who that is. Is that like John Krasinski from The Office? Who's secretly a serial killer? Wait, are there bird furries? I haven't seen any bird costumes. This is Joel snorting coke. I know, it sounds like it, but I promise I'm drug free. I just like, I don't know, it's annoying. Because I feel like it... I do need a humidifier, some shit in my life. It's so fucking annoying, like, the dryness of the north. You just always have some stupid shit going on. Oh, the Unabomber. Nice. Probably not smart to read that on stream. Get put on somebody's list. Somebody's naughty list. Not all of us are attracted to anthro animals, but it's a phenomenon that does actually exist, and we call those people furverts. But there's been a conscious effort over the past few years to create a clear dividing line between that kind of thing and the rest of the community. We don't want the smallest, seediest part of furry fandom to define us. But like any other and welcoming community, we have our fair share of bad apples, and I was unfortunate enough to run into one at a furry convention back in 2019. It didn't put me off getting involved in the community. In fact, other furries were the people who helped me get over the trauma that followed, but I do consider it a warning of the kind of people that are out there. So in 2019, Confuzzled was held at the Hilton Hotel in Birmingham, and because I'm the only person in my social circle who has a fursona, I made my way down there on my own. I had a ticket for the Saturday, and it was probably one of the best days of my life. All the love and support you get from the other furries online is one thing, but feeling that all translate into real life was honestly one of the most joy-filled things I'd ever experienced. I mean, I knew there were unusual people just like me out there, but to see them in the flesh was almost surreal. Now, I don't wear a fursuit. Instead, I opt to just wear a little homemade badge with a drawing of Scarlet on it. Buying and maintaining a fursuit is way too expensive for me, but I had a massive respect for anyone that has one and bothers to cart it all over the country with them. And to see so many fursuits all in one place was absolutely unreal. I quickly got talking to another girl there who had exactly the same kind of badge as I'd made. Then that was that. I made a friend for the entire day. She and I still talk, actually, almost 2 years later. But anyway, we get talking to all different kinks of furries, and all different kinks of furries. I think they meant kinds. I think I actually need to blow my nose. I'm sorry. I feel like a grandpa. You know how like do you ever have like a grandpa who has like a fucking handkerchief and blows their nose every like 3 fucking seconds, but it's like not even mucus, they're just like dry. My grandpa would always like snort that like nasal mist shit, just like shove that up his nose. Just snort that shit. That was really funny to watch. I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't bother me that much, but I just feel like it's like... Your grandpa did snuff. Isn't it? That's actually like... Actual snuff is like what you... like snort up your nose, right? Because I never actually... I've heard of it, but I never saw it. Like, people always used chew, I guess you could say. Like chewing tobacco. That nasal stuff is actually addicting. Oh, Liz, are you addicted to nasal sprays? Snuff films, not quite. You can't sleep without it. You feel like it's not, your nostrils are blocked. That's interesting. I guess that might help because some people have like sleep apnea and where their like airways kind of close off, especially at nighttime. Tobacco dust. Real Cobra Kai with the 1. Thank you, my friend. What are we all eating? I made corn chowder. It's -10 in Colorado. God damn. That is chilly. I guess I should be thankful that it's not that cold here. Once you notice your nose is bothering you, can't stop sniffing. I know, dude, it's annoying. But I'm more worried about like getting picked up on a mic. Nasal or spinal? I don't know anymore. It's everywhere. Weed snorters. Bob, you used to have sleep apnea. Did it stop because you lost weight? Because I know a lot of people have to like lose weight to get better breathing patterns when they sleep. Thank you, Cobra Kai. Thank you. But anyway, we get talking to all different kinds of furries, and that's the first time I really got to grips with just how eclectic and diverse the furry community really is. Like I said, it made for an amazing time, but Confuzzled has a few bad memories for me too, because it's where I met Ryan. Ryan was one of the handful of people that just sort of snowballed into a little group of us that explored Confuzzled that year. He was awfully quiet at first, just a small, skinny guy who wore a pair of white wolf ears among a few other furry accessories. He told me that his first persona was an Arctic wolf, and that expressing himself in wolfish or doggish ways, it's a hard one to say for some reason. He told me that his persona was an Arctic wolf, and that expressing himself in a wolfish or doggish way just felt so right and natural to him. Ryan was definitely like one of those people I mentioned before, who felt like being a furry was a way for them to connect to some kind of spirit animal, and despite him not wearing a fursuit, he seemed to take the whole thing more seriously than anyone. We had quite a long conversation about how it made him angry when people didn't take his persona seriously, and I had to talk him down a little bit, explaining that not everyone is as open-minded as people like him and I. But Ryan seemed fixated on revenge and violence, getting back at people, really unhealthy things like that, and seemed to intertwine a lot of his furry fantasies with those kind of darker themes. I really didn't want to be mean, but by the end of the conversation I was so disturbed and frustrated by his attitude and the things he was saying that I almost wanted to tell him to grow up. Everyone had a hard time in life on occasion, especially when you're a little bit different, but wanting to hurt people as a result is just wrong. When we were all leaving, we made the decision to swap contact info, and I was far too polite not to give Ryan my number. Foolish decision, but I'm just not in the habit of standing up for myself sometimes. When he texts me, I decided to tactically ignore it for a few days, but he follows up with a few messages like, "Please don't ignore me." Now I felt guilty, but I really don't like confrontation, so any chance that there had been me accepting his request just totally disappeared in that moment. Call me selfish, but I really didn't need his kind of negative. Oops. Jeff Bezos, the butter sock I ordered should come in 3 days by Amazon. Thank you, Jeff. I thought you were retired. Anthony with the 2 says it's -13 in the Springs. God damn. It's gotta be wild. I mean, I guess eventually it's like so cold that you like, what do you even say anymore? You're just like, what? If I'm not dead, I'm good, you know? But it is interesting whenever it's really fucking cold and then it goes up to like 35 or some shit like that, and then suddenly 35 feels like your blood can actually move through your body. Lone Wonder, you did, my friend. That's right, Lisa, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of all new videos. That's what I like to hear. Call me selfish, but I really didn't need his kind of negativity in my life. Anyways, a few days later, my phone starts buzzing with an unknown number. With it only being the week following the convention, I still hadn't saved everyone's numbers, so I figured whoever was calling was from Confuzzled, and I'd be happy to hear from them. Right on one account, wrong on the other. I didn't recognize the voice at first, but when they told me who it was, my heart sank. It was Ryan. And Ryan had yet more bad news for me. He told me he thought we'd really vibed at Confuzzled and he'd like to see me again. I tried making soft excuses at first, like, well, everyone was getting along pretty good, hinting that the connection we shared wasn't particularly special or unique, but he just didn't take the hint. The way he phrased it, no one had ever listened to him or talked to him as Lauren Grace with the 5 says, I fall asleep to your voice every night and it really helps my anxiety. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. I appreciate that. That furry groundhog gave us 3 weeks of winter, son of a gun. He was at Confuzzled and he saw a shadow. Oh my god, he saw a shadow. I would run away too. Furry stories? The way he phrased it, no one had ever listened to him or talked to him as deep as I had, and as a result, he'd imprinted on me, so to speak. A little bit about that word right there. Imprinting is something only animals like ducks do. Like the babies hatch, they see mummy, and they imprint on them. Dogs and wolves were once thought to imprint, but a lot of zoologists now believe otherwise. So Ryan thinking he could imprint on me is just complete pseudoscience, but, you know, different people believe different things, and it's not really my place to go around dictating people's feelings to them, is it? I figured Ryan will just calm down after a while and leave me alone. Like, I know for a fact that all it takes for a guy to move on from you is meeting another girl. Any girl, too. Doesn't matter if they're pretty or popular or not. And eventually Ryan did move on. But not before 2 really serious incidents that had my parents on the verge of calling the police. The first incident came from Ryan somehow working out where I went to college. I'm not entirely sure how he worked out where I was studying, but since there's only 2 colleges in Leeds offering comprehensive illustration courses, which we discussed at Confuzzled, I guess it was only a matter of time before he figured it out. He actually phoned my head of department and asked if I was a student there, then was really rude when she refused to give any information to him. Whatever he said was so horrible that my tutor ended up calling my parents and letting them know, and that's how it all came out, that I was basically... Whoops. Yeah, this girl's too nice. I guess most girls are just too nice in these stories, honestly. You guys need to be meaner. You guys need to be meaner to the weirdos. just tell them to eat shit. Tell them I sent you. Hey, next time you get a weirdo in your DMs, just say, hey, Let's Read told me to tell you to eat a big pile of shit. That's how it all came out, that I basically had a stalker. Dad was really angry that I hadn't said anything to them. Mom just got really upset. I told them I'd already blocked him on everything, which is why he was taking drastic measures like phoning up my college. The only silver lining was that because my tutor hadn't shared any information, Ryan still didn't actually know where I lived or studied, but he was getting dangerously close. The only step I hadn't taken in shutting him out of my life was changing my phone number. It just seemed like way too much trouble. Changing my number on all my online stuff, texting my friends and relatives to make sure they all had my new contact details. It just seemed quicker and simpler to just block Ryan's number and have done with it. Big mistake. Because one day I get a video message from a number I didn't recognize. It was silly of me to even watch it. I should have had the presence of mind to realize who or what it is, but I didn't. I messed up and I watched the video. I gasped as soon as it started. It showed a pigeon lying on its side in some grass, flapping frantically with one broken wing. The video got all shaky as a black boot appeared in the frame, kicking at the wounded pigeon before a hand then shot out to grab the poor little thing where it lay. Then the video changed camera to the front-facing one, and suddenly I watched as somebody sank their teeth into the pigeon's belly. I couldn't quite see who it was yet. It was still really shaky, and the person was spitting out feathers that wafted in the way of the camera. But I couldn't tell that they were Yikes, Jesus Christ. Kate Cooper with the 5 says, love falling asleep to your voice. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, thank you. Hopefully some of them aren't too disturbing. But I could tell that they were tearing into that poor little thing with their teeth. Finally, the person stopped chewing pigeon meat and feathers and steadied the camera on their face. They had blood and feathers all around their mouth. It looked inhuman, but I could tell who it was. Shit, I clicked my fucking mouse. But they had blood and feathers all around their mouth. They looked inhuman, but I could tell who it was. It was Ryan. After that, I suddenly found the motivation to change my phone number. It was just as much as a pain in the butt as I thought it was going to be, but it was worth it to know that I was finally free of him. I can tolerate a bit of quirkiness. I'm all about quirky. But Ryan took it way too far, and I found his video to be seriously upsetting and disturbing, as anyone would. I suppose that's one of the downsides of living an alternative lifestyle, that sometimes you're going to run into people who gravitate towards alternative ways of thinking or living. I don't mind that, but I sincerely hope I never meet anyone like Ryan, ever, again. Yikers. Fucking poor pigeon, Jesus. Can you get a link to the Discord? Yeah. Hey, there's Alex. What's up, Alex? Long time no see, homie G. Homie E. He got the bird flu. Maybe. You don't know what. Him just like blindly biting into like those things. They carry a lot of disease on them, I think. Has anyone had the spicy nuggets from McDonald's? Is Wendy's spicy nuggets better? Spicy nuggies. Guess you'll have to do a review on your food review channel. Alright, so this is story. Oh yes, thank you, Anahi, I appreciate that. Good reminder. I gotta do 10 seconds of silence. That does help a lot, the reminders, because the last story, I did record it in the middle of the story, so I have to like pull that to the front, but I still am having trouble getting rid of, like, basically what happens is if you've ever removed background noise from something, it's usually pretty successful if you have enough background noise recorded prior to doing your normal recordings. But then if there's like a more higher frequency, which seems to be coming from my computer, I think, whenever I freaking like when I talk in the recording after the background noise has quote unquote been removed, it seems as if though it's not capable of removing that humming or that frequency from the background while I'm talking. You know what I mean? I'm a background noise, true. But so it's like it kind of like still has that humming when I talk, and thankfully the music kind of covers it up a little bit. But if you're on Patreon, I don't know if anybody's on here on Patreon, it's $1 a month for early access. But I don't add any music to that. I just remove the background noise in those ones, and you might be able to hear it. And to me, it's a little bit irritating, and I just want to figure out how to make it nice. Who keeps saying, hey, listen? It's my notification for donations, which, speaking of which, Kate Cooper with the 5. Thank you, Kate. Alright. I need to do a lip lube. Paul Stefani, don't suppose you'll read my story anytime soon. I don't know which story is yours, my dude. It's all kind of random. Pradeep is saying, hey, listen. Yeah, you're hearing it in your head. My name is Rory, and I'm a security guard here in Scotland. The company I work for mainly does nightclubs and construction site security, but for some reason I always end up getting the weirder jobs. But that suits me because they tend to be in the daytime and I'm just not cut out for night shifts anymore. Anyway, so my boss asked me if I wanted to work a Saturday shift over at the Mercure. Mercure? I wonder if that's something that's has a pronunciation somewhere. Mercure. Venikins with a $2 says Valentine boop snoots for you and Pradeep Kite. Thank you, thank you. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. What have you illustrated lately? Mercure. 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 Franco. I don't know if I should pronounce it like a Frenchman or Scottish. Mercure. It seems like everybody's kind of saying it like that, but whatever, we'll go with that. Okay. Anyway, so my boss asked me if I wanted to work a Saturday shift over at the Mercure Hotel in Livingston. Told me if would be a... Oops. They told me it would be a solid 10-hour shift providing security for a convention they had on... Sorry, that sounds so weird. They told me it would be a solid 10-hour shift providing security for a convention they had on. Easy money, basically. I asked them what kind of rage convention... What the hell is Raj? Raj convention? Wait, Raj. Raj. Same as Roge, violent or crazy, a fit of rage. Oh, okay. Wait, oh. Angry, oh, okay. They just spelled it in Scot dialect, I didn't realize that. I'm so distracting that you try to rinse a ginger grater using honey. Say what? I asked him what kind of rage convention needed security guards, but he's not got a Scooby. All he knew is it was called ScotiaCon. There were no clues in the name, like... What the fuck is this? Like, is this how Scottish people write? It's very confusing. There were no clues in the name, like, so, needless to say, I'm a wee bit curious about what this whole thing's about. You're a wee rage. I don't know, it's like confusing as shit. You like foul language and tacos, that's what I like to hear. And there were no clues in the name, like, so, needless to say, I'm a wee bit curious about what this whole thing is about. Turns out it was a big meetup for people called furries. What I'm about to tell you is all learned on the fly, so don't hold any of it against me. The furries are basically people who think they're animals, so they dress up in these big daft suits and wiggle their butts, but don't get me wrong, They all seemed like lovely lads and lassies, but the whole thing was proper dafty. They were selling each other all kinds of artwork. They were selling each other all kinds of artwork, clothes they'd made. Some of it was a wee bit... Dude, what? Wee bit. It confuses me. Didi Cortez with the $7.77 says, I'm the cat using mom's cards. She stopped reading because of you. Good. Good, kitty. Don't give her card back. Don't tell her. I won't tell her either. And thank you, Didi. I'm gonna have a hard time. I know. It's just like there's a... it's not written terribly. It's just that the Scottish divergencies of English are just confusing a bit. A wee bit. Joel is a furry confirmed. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Rukax, what's up? With the 5 says, yo, let's read. The master of reading anything. Missed some of your last streams. Good to hear you, man. Good to hear you, man. Yes, thank you, Rukax. Good to see you. Welcome. You feckin' donut. They were selling each other all kinds of artwork, clothes they'd made. Some of it was a wee bit pervy, like, but there didn't seem to be any kind of kids there, so no harm, no done, eh? Like I said, lovely lads and lassies, but there was one wee bugger who I take exception to. There were a few good 100 people there. A lot of younger people, too. Hardly the kind of thing I picture when I hear the word convention. They didn't seem too leery or anything. There was just a lot of them, hence why I was there. But I really didn't see anything kicking off. So when I got the call that the security team was needed in the main convention hall, I was a wee bit shocked, I'll be honest. So, I'm following this other guy I'd not worked with before down a corridor and into the main hall, and immediately you can see where the trouble is. Everyone is looking over into one particular corner where you can hear this wee argument going on. Me and my colleagues make our way through the crowds of oddly dressed but well-meaning folk until we come across the culprits. Most of the noise was coming from one wee lad with a dog collar on. He had ears on, all sorts of dog-themed stuff on his backpack and clothing. Basically, dogs were this kid's thing. I start asking what the big song and dance is about, and he told me he'd been arguing with the stall owner over the piece of art. Shite. Flickin' shite. We read about furries not because it's easy, but because I'm hard. Where's head mod when you need it? There he is, Alex. He's in the house. Joel is the furriest furry. I started asking what the big song and dance is about, and he told me he'd been arguing with the stall owner over the price of a piece of artwork. But the bloke he owns the stall just wants him out. Says he's... The bloke he owns the stall. Is that how you would say that? Is the bloke he owns it? He needs to turn down the wee bit. Yeah, I don't know if that's like a thing that they say a wee bit, but seems it. But the bloke who owns the stall just wants him out, saying he's been threatening him and all this other stuff. All I do is try and separate them. I can't really be throwing people out, but this lad's causing trouble, so I start trying to move him away. At first the dog boy seems like he's just going to walk away, but suddenly he doubles back and throws a kick at the guy's stall. Not just that, but he seriously starts barking at this guy, like proper loud, ruff, 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 ruff. It was intense, man. Naturally, I then go to grip him, and the kid actually bites me. I went to throw an arm around his neck to get control of him, but he just caught my arm and sunk his teeth into it. Now luckily, I was wearing my branded security jacket, and the fabric is just tough and plasticky enough to have this lad's jaw drip slight of... What? What, mate? What? Oh. Holy hell, this is... What's my OnlyFans? Oh, that's a secret. Secret $900 Patreon access. Now luckily I'm wearing my branded security jacket and the fabric is just tough and plasticky enough to have this lad's jaw drip slip off the meat of me arm. What the fuck? That's funny. Drip slip. Jaw slip off. Maybe not drip. There's no way there's a drip slip. I don't think there's a drip slip, is there, in Scottish dialect? I should narrate video games. I should. Hurry up, video games. Hire me. Hire me. Concerned frog stare. Ribbit. Woof. Ruff. 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 Now, luckily, I'm wearing my branded security jacket, and the fabric is just tough and plasticky enough to have this lad's jaw slip off the meat of my arm. But Jesus H, if he'd... God damn it. If he'd have gotten a grip on me, I might have a chunk bitten off of me. But Jesus H, if he'd have gotten a grip on me, I might have a chunk bitten off me. The lad near was rabid. Jeez, I can't read this shit. Okay. The lad was near rabid. As the other security guys are dragging him off, I can see him trying to bite him, but I can hear this noise too. And it actually took a wee second for the penny to drop that it was the sound of his teeth clapping together, like the sharp snap, snap, snap sound. Proper scary, that. How mental some people are. I get my arm looked at by the medics. Police turn up and take the lad away. Definitely the most eventful thing that happened, and the rest of it was a wee bit boring after the initial furry shock. Nice people, though. Wouldn't mind going back. We're all here under the water. I got bitten by a illiterate mite, and he's driven my mind insane, unable to read Scottish dialect. What do the Scots speak? Sconce? Is that what it's called? Let's see. Scottish language, or is it Gaelic? Scotic language. Scots language. Scots is a West Germanic language variety spoken in Scotland and parts of Ulster and the north of Ireland, where the local dialect is known as Ulster Scots. It is sometimes called Lowland Scots to distinguish it from Scottish Gaelic, the Gaelic Celtic language that was historically restricted to most of the Highlands, the Hebrides, and the Galloway after the 16th century. Modern Scots is a sister language of modern English, as the two diverged independently from the same source. The same sauce. Kuru, you're late. You're just in time, though, for the last two. How do you say this place? Folaron? Folaron? What? Come on. Oh, Fullerton. Fullerton. Ooh, this one's going to be scary, it seems. Venikins with a 2 says, pretty sure the drip slip is the new Valentine STD, lol. Holy shit, this is true. Please be careful out there when going down south. Metal scraping against bone sets my teeth on edge. Yikes. Against bone? Like sawing bones? That's the only time I can imagine that happening. Look up the Hebrides goat. It's Satan. Most likely. Alright. The Fullerton Furry. Here we go. Scott speaks Scottish. I think, I don't know, that Wikipedia article had something different. I mean, I'm sure they speak English, but it seemed as if though there was varying dialects. You made me look up the Hebrides goat real quick. Okay, let me look it up. Alright, let me take time out of my beautiful day. Just kidding. I am curious. Goat curious. Oh yeah. It does look like the satanic goat. Basically, it's got the goat horns on the front, but then another set below it that like loop around. That'd be an interesting one to have. And they're black too, so they look sinister. Like real dark with red eyes. Bit strange. That's cool. Wonder if they'd plow into you. And that movie Witch, spelled with 2 V's, they had a goat. And it was a bit scary. Please sing. I ain't in the singing mood, let me tell ya. Perhaps a sea shanty later. Scots speak haggis, yeah. Doomed bitch, thanks for the $1. Appreciate it. Gaelic is varied. Herbert Small with a 5 says, Happy Valentine's Day to you, Joel. Also to my lovely wife, may our hearts and glasses be filled. De hard, hey, de hey, de hard, hey. We are reading about furries. Thank you, Herbert. Happy V-Day to you guys. Hope you're having a romantic evening. Doomed bitch with a 2 says, Emma in the house. Shout out. Shout out to Emma. Welcome, welcome. There's no ketchup in Canada. Hashtag facts. Is this true? Nikki, Witch was not trash. It was just it was a slow one. What's your favorite? And we can compare our tastes. Shanty time. Let's see, what was the one shanty I was singing earlier? I'm all about the shanties. Lately, I'm all about the shanties. Let me look it up. Today. Oh, you know me, we reading about furries. Oh wait, okay, shanty. Oh yeah, Bones in the Ocean. Let me look that up. Bones in the Ocean lyrics. It's a sad song about a man who lost his friends in a sea crash when their boat sank and all of his friends died, and then he goes out to end his own life, but has a bit of remorse as he does so and wonders if the people that loved him that are still alive will miss him the way he misses his old shipmates, and then decides that his shipmates would much rather him live a happy and full life alive and you know, remember them fondly. The Longest Bones, let's see. Oh, I bid farewell to the port and the land, and I paddle away from brave England's white... I don't have the tone. How the fuck do you sing it? And I remember the fallen, do they remember me? I'd have to practice. It would be fun to be part of like a choir thing and sing shanties. I think that would be totally worth... I think it'd be way better than... I mean, you know, singing church choir stuff seems neat, but fucking sea shanties? Let's go. Let's go. I'm sea shantying? I'm sea shantying? Okay. On the morning of September 24th... Oh, fuck, I forgot to record. Silence. I'm gonna hear her do a Sasquatch accent. My Sasquatch accent. On the morning of September 24th, 2016, a California police dispatcher received a call informing them that there was a disturbance at a house in Fullerton, a city just over 100,000 in Orange County. But unlike most 911 calls, which come from adults, the dispatcher immediately recognized that the caller's voice belonged to a young girl that sounded completely and utterly grief-stricken. When the dispatcher asked the little girl where her mommy and daddy were, the girl's tearful reply chilled her to the core. They got shot, the little girl said. They're dead. 2 responding police officers rushed over to the address with lights flashing and sirens wailing, pulling out their sidearms as they approached the house. They were greeted by the sight of an open door and 2 weeping, terrified children waiting for them on the porch. One of them was the 9-year-old girl that had made the girl... Wait, what? You play the spoons? She sang sea shanties by the seashore. She sang seashore. Alright. One of them was the 9-year-old girl that had made... Oh, I see. Made the call, probably. One of them was the 9-year-old girl that had made the call, trying and failing to comfort her sobbing little sister. Soundtracked by the horrific screeching of the two young girls, the police officers burst into the home to find it had become the site of a grisly triple murder. Dead bodies were all over the house, each with a sizable amount of blood oozing from gruesomely devastating gunshot wounds. 39-year-old Jennifer Goodwill Yost, along with her husband Christopher and their friend Arthur, had all been executed in a spray of buckshot after what must have been a swift and brutal early morning attack. What was worse, Jennifer's 17-year-old daughter, Caitlin, nowhere to be found. Just 3 days after the murders, and to the infinite... Shite. How many stories left? We got 2 more. We just started this 5th story of 6. So we are... but they're pretty lengthy and girthy, so decent amount of reading to go here. Just 3 days after the murders, and to the infinite relief of her relatives, Caitlin was found to be alive and well, but the police had to break the bad news to her concerning her parents' deaths. As you can imagine, Caitlin was utterly devastated. No one was so young. Oopsies. As you can imagine, Caitlin was utterly devastated. No one so young should ever have to suffer through the death of a parent, but the police did have one small piece of good news, that they had arrested 2 men in connection with their loved one's murders, and there was a good chance that justice would be done. But when Caitlin was told the names of those taken into custody, she was inconsolable, because 21-year-old Joshua Acosta and 25-year-old Frank Felix were no strangers to young Caitlin. They were 2 people she knew quite intimately, given that they were part of the same unusual subculture known as furry fandom. Dedicated fan... shit. Dedicated fans of the... Okay, there we go. You were watching a Wilbur Soot stream? Who's that feller? Wilbur. Can you imagine being eaten alive by chickens? I can. It happens in The Legend of Zelda when you steal shit. Or no, when you piss the chickens off enough. Don't piss the chickens. Dedicated fans of anthropomorphized animals who typically flock to cartoons and fan fictions depicting adorable animals that walk on 2 feet. Although it's not entirely clear how Caitlin and Joshua met, there's a good chance that they met at a regional furry convention, one of many events that brings together those that share a passion for furry fandom. Both Caitlin and her mother, Jennifer, were active among furry fandom. Oh, let me let this cat in real quick. I can hear him smashing his little body against the wall. Please, let me in. Oh my god. A true furry has entered the building. Pradeep himself. He's been a furry since birth, and he's not ashamed. Squawk. Here we go. Wait. Flirting. Put it. Wait. What was it? Share a pat. Both Caitlin and were active among the furry. Where was I? Depicting adorable animals, although it's not clear. Have I seen Cabin Boy? No, what's that? Although it's not entirely clear how Caitlin and Joshua met, There's a good chance that they met at a regional furry convention, one of many events that brings together those that share a passion for furry fandom. Both Caitlin and her mother, Jennifer, were active among furry forums and message boards going by the nicknames of Daydreamer Fox Wolf and Jen Ma, respectively, and it's clear that Caitlin in particular used such message boards to talk to males in her age group. She and Joshua messaged back and forth for quite a while, but when Jennifer learned that a 21-year-old was flirting with her underage daughter, even going so far as proposing furry dates, she put her foot down. Jennifer explicitly banned her daughter from talking to Joshua and at one point threatened to confiscate her phone if she was believed to be communicating with him. In doing so, she believed she had adequately dealt with a potentially scandalous situation, which she could have never have guessed what a vengeful, violent person Joshua was. Just a few days prior to the murders, Frank Felix, known by his persona NT Feliz, okay. Just a few moments. You have thunder snow now in Dallas. Wait, here in D/FW. That's pretty cool. That's like pretty rare, is it not? I do remember seeing it when I was out hiking. It was snowing, and all of a sudden I saw lightning in the sky while snowing. I was like, that's fucking sweet, especially out in the woods. Everything turned purple. Just a few days prior to the murders, Frank Felix, known by his persona NT Feliz, posted a vague but intriguing Facebook status, one in which he confessed that he was stressed out about something. It was later shown in court that when asked why he was stressed by one of his Facebook friends, he replied, asked why? Okay, Jesus Christ. It was later shown in court that when asked why he was stressed by one of his Facebook friends, he replied with a message stating that he and a close friend of his were planning something heavy, something that involved killing an animal. We can therefore... I don't know why I'm fucking up so bad right now. Why were I hiking in the snow? Did you ever go hiking in the snow? It's pretty sweet. Should give it a try. It's very tranquil. The snow sort of disables the movement of sound to travel as far as it can. So it's pretty peaceful and quiet. We can therefore deduce that the murder of Caitlin's parents was no spur-of-the-moment thing, no sudden and passionate act of violence by a spurned romantic partner. It was planned, carefully and methodically, and when Josh and Frank hit the Yost family home that Saturday morning, those inside never stood a chance. Joshua, known by his persona, Lennon, even planned the attack for a time of day when Caitlin would be out of the house, which suggests that he believed that even after he had murdered his potential girlfriend's parents, that she would choose to be romantically involved with him. Then, on the morning they had planned to make their move, Josh Acosta quietly broke into the Yost family home, armed with a 12-gauge shotgun and a smaller caliber pistol. After creeping through the kitchen, he came across a sleeping Arthur Boucher. Probably Boucher, fuck. Arthur Boucher. Riding horses in the snow? I've never done that. That sounds pretty awesome. After creeping through the kitchen, he came across the sleeping Arthur Boucher. Acosta brought his shotgun to bear and blew the 28-year-old's head clean off as he lay on the couch in front of the TV. Somehow Jennifer hadn't quite realized what the loud noise downstairs was, and was still under her What is this? Duvet? I think it's duvet, but pronounced to rhyme with cover. Dover, occasionally spelled Dover, is an Isle of Wight dialect term for low-lying piece of land along the coast, subject to occasional inundation by the sea. Oh. It's a weird phrase. Somehow Jennifer hadn't quite realized what the loud noise downstairs was and was still under her... Oh wait, maybe they meant to type duvet. Still under her duvet in a state of half-awoken confusion when it caught... Maybe they meant cover. I don't know why you would be under a duvet. What, like, isn't a duvet like a fucking... Oh, wait. A quilt. Oh, it is a... Okay. I'm an idiot. A quilt, usually with washable cover, that may be used in place of a bedspread and top sheet. Okay. Duvet. Okay. We did it. We did it, guys. We did it, Reddit. We solved the mystery. Somehow Jennifer hadn't quite realized what the loud noise was downstairs, and was still under her duvet in a state of half-awoken confusion when Acosta burst through the door of her bedroom. Those final moments must have been terrifying, having thought she'd actually gotten Joshua out of her daughter's life. Yet there he was, clear as day, a furious young man with a shotgun pointed at her head. It was a sight that was to be the last thing Jennifer Yost would ever see. But when Joshua turned to Caitlin's stepfather and attempted to execute him too, his shotgun jammed, and Christopher attempted an escape. For a moment it seemed like his life was saved, but Acosta cleared the jam and took Christopher's head off as he tried to open up a nearby window. Then, just as quickly as they arrived, the murderer disappeared, leaving the two young girls to stumble across the gore-streaked scenes of their own parents' murders. Over 4 years later, on December 14th, 2018, Joshua Acosta was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole, and was incarcerated at the I'll have to see how you say this one. Calipatria. You guys from Cali, California. California. Uno momento. Oh, come on, bruv. Do. Duvet, bidet. They need to mix a duvet and a bidet together. Okay. City of Calipatria. I could see it being pronounced weird. I just want to get it right. Pronouns. Breaking news. Inmate stabbed to death at Sussex State Prison. How to pronounce... Maybe this will have it. Nope. There's a really weird website called pronouncekiwi.com, and they literally never have... Oh, there it is. I guess robots do it and then people vote on it. It's kind of weird. Calipatria. All right. We did it, Reddit. Oh, am I still recording? Fuck. Over 4 years later, on December 14th, 2018, Joshua Acosta was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole, and was incarcerated at the Calipatria State Prison in Imperial County, California. But during the trial, some extremely sinister revelations emerged regarding a third person involved in the triple murder. Just after Acosta and Felix were arrested by police, it was announced by the department that another person had been taken into custody, one that was a juvenile and therefore couldn't be named. This was on the exact same day that Caitlin was discovered alive and well. Then during the trial, it was revealed that Caitlin had received immunity from prosecution for her testimony. But what could the teenager possibly have to hide concerning her own parents' murder? When Caitlin took the stand, the courtroom was gripped by a shocking account that turned the entire narrative on its head. She confirmed that she had told Josh Acosta that Christopher was not her real father, just her mother's husband, and that because they were not blood relatives, Christopher had been touching her from time to time, and she was only 7 years old at that time. Caitlin then confided this to Josh, who was naturally enraged by the idea, vowing to take revenge for such a hideous crime. She insisted that killing those in the house was not something she had ever suggested to Josh, and come to his murderous conclusions all on his own. All she had asked of him was to help her run away when the moment was right. Whether or not we choose to believe Caitlin's allegations is irrelevant, as Josh certainly believed them, enough that he was able to enlist a friend of his and fellow furry to assist him in committing the murders. And now we understand what Felix's cryptic reference to killing an animal meant. He wasn't referring to Jen or Caitlin's furry fandom. He was referring to the predatory nature of the alleged child abuser, Christopher. He and Josh didn't think that they were enacting some hideous revenge. To them, they were Caitlin's guardian angels, protecting a fellow furry from routine indecent assault that was sanctioned by her own mother. But as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It seems that lies, deceit, lust, and violence can pervade the furry community just as much as any other. Yet despite their concerns, I don't think people will use such an incident to stereotype furries as being violent deviants. But the fact remains that a hideous web of lies, potential abuse, and murder stemmed from a chance meeting at a convention center. And who could have guessed when two fursuited young people gave each other a wave in some hallway or corridor, that it would end with a story of blood, bullets, and venal abuse. Venal? Is that the right? Venal? Maybe venal? Venal. Okay, I said it right. Cool. Open to bribery, mercenary, characterized for corrupt dealings, especially bribery. Yikes. What the fuck, dude? That was insane. Ew, dude. I think I saw in like a movie one time when I was younger, some dude gets shot in the... Oh, I think it was Hills Have Eyes. You guys ever see Hills Have Eyes? And basically some dude was in a... maybe it wasn't Hills Have Eyes, but basically someone was inside of an outhouse and got shot in the head with a shotgun in the movie. But they showed it, right? And it was fucking terrifying. Like, I don't know. It was just very like, holy shit, that looked real kind of thing, you know? Oh no, don't ever mix... Wait, what are you guys talking about mixing liquor with Tylenol for? That's like actually insanely bad. It like will destroy your liver, almost guaranteed. Do not ever mix acetaminophen with alcohol. You're gonna just like wreck your liver. Do not do it. People die from that. In fact, there was a fucking cult who likes, you know, I don't know if you guys remember that cult that were waiting for like a spaceship that was following they thought the spaceship was following this comet, right? And if they all committed suicide together, and this was in California, of course, right? You know, everything's in California. And like, you know, they committed suicide to get to this spaceship. Their souls would ascend or some nonsense. And they took a mixture of like vodka with pain medicine, which has a degree of that sort of, I guess they call it like hepatic dysfunction with your liver. It really fucks up your liver, and you die. Yeah, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, the Heaven's Gate cult, which is what they actually reference the Heaven's Gate cult in. It's one of the coolest scenes actually in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you played that, you stumble across a cabin, that's very close to a little bit of a duck pond, where you initially actually find a nook in a tree where this guy that owed your gang money was hiding his money, and you go to that nook of the tree and grab it, but then right next to it is this cabin filled with like decrepit dead bodies, and it's sort of insinuating that all of these dead bodies had done some sort of group suicide pact or whatever. But it's also really weird too, because if you come there at nighttime and go in there, all of a sudden you'll see like a green hue and like a kind of like woo, noise or whatever coming down, and a fucking like actual alien spaceship like comes down to the top of the church, and then you look up at it and then it like takes off, and it's really interesting. But I guess they were right in the video game. Lila, you don't feel good. Why? Joel talking about rubbing a small amount of whiskey on baby's gums, but ingesting the two. No, don't do that either. Like people, I don't know. Don't do that to a baby. I know that's like an old thing that like my grandma used to do. I would look into the science of that, because it's probably not good for a fucking kid, especially like an infant or a 3-year-old or any kid below the age of 21. I mean, just read about it. We got fucking Google on there. Don't rub alcohol on your kids' gums. Oh yeah, opioids, but opioids are usually mixed like half and half with acetaminophen as well. So, and the acetaminophen is which is Tylenol, generic Tylenol, and like it is metabolized through your liver, along with alcohol is metabolized through your liver. So mixing the two is really fucking bad. All right, my dudes, we got one more story left. Oh, Pradeep's like flipped upside down on his back. Just begging for a rubbing, but I don't want to rub him because then I'll want more attention. Is Joel a stoner, though? I am not, no. I don't really like getting high. I mean, I have no issue with people doing it, and I do it from time to time, but I just don't like... I like being sober. Because I think some pretty wacky thoughts already. In fact, whenever people are high, they kind of like talking to me because I can entertain their wild ideas. Because I'm usually thinking that way anyways. Like sometimes when I get high on marijuana, like the amount that I laugh is like really bad. Like I like laugh to the point where I don't know, it just like it explodes out of me, and it's really fucking loud, and I can't control it. It's obnoxious, and then I like to be in control of myself. Oh yeah, I gotta record 10 seconds of silence. Well, I wasn't saying there's an actual half and half mixture, my dude. I'm just saying that it's present and it will be metabolized through your liver. Homie G. Long story short, do not drink alcohol and take any pain medicine. And do not take Tylenol with alcohol either. It exists. You can look it up. It's on the internet. We have all the information there. That's the end. Period. Clap. Twitter clap. Do not take alcohol with pain meds or Tylenol. Clappity clap clap clap. Full stoppy. Just after midnight on Sunday, December 7th, 2014, the fire alarm at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois began to ring. Many of the hotel's guests didn't even bother to leave their rooms to check things out, with a few believing that the alarm had been caused by a lazy smoker, setting off their fire alarm while trying to stealth a cigarette in another room. Some even thought it was a drill or simply a false alarm, anything to keep them having to climb out of their nice warm beds. It was frightfully cold outside that night, and we can understand another person's reticence to venture out into the icy air. But soon, those that had remained in their hotel rooms heard the fists of both staff and guests alike hammering on their doors, along with the voices out in the hallway, imploring them to evacuate. Voices that shook with a great and obvious terror. Yet it was only when they ventured out into the corridors that they realized how serious the unfolding incident really was. Rannick? Is Rannick a word? Rannick? Or Rancic? Rancic. Wait, is that a word? Is that even a thing? Maybe they meant rancid. Actually, let me just check real quick. No, that's not one. What about Rannick? I think they meant rancid. Okay. Rancid. Rancid toxic odors hit the guests as they walked towards emergency exits, with fumes so intense that their eyes began to water, making their escape even more difficult and stressful. People gagged and retched as they made their way down stairwells and through corridors, with some being so affected by the gas that they actually began to pass out, collapsing to the ground to the terror of their fellow guests. However, to many of the evacuees, there was something oddly familiar about the debilitating stench, as it was one that seemed to remind them of public swimming pools. Within an hour of the initial fire alarm, the hotel had been swarmed by FBI agents, Homeland Security officials, police officers, firefighters, and news reporters, with hazardous materials technicians waddling in and out of the lobby wearing spacesuit-like protective clothing. And it wasn't long before many of the hotel guests had their suspicions confirmed. The intense fumes they smelled were the result of chlorine, the oxidizing chemical commonly used as a cleaning agent in swimming pools. The gas can be fatally toxic when leaked into the atmosphere, causing respiratory problems and irritation of the eyes, and infamously yielding shit. The gas can be fatally toxic when leaked into the atmosphere, causing respiratory problems and irritation of the eyes, and infamously yielded horrifying results when used on British troops by the German army during World War I. But the gas attack became a national sensation, not just because it was a potential terrorist attack, but because its apparent target had been the attendance of the Midwest Fur Fest, one of the largest and most well-known furry conventions in the United States. Held once a year, the event sees... Oh yeah, I did do the 10 seconds before this one. We're good. Gucci. Held once a year, the event sees over 4,000 fursuited visitors from around the world descend on a hotel of convention centers. Oh, Lordy, Lord. I don't know why I'm tired, but I'm tired. Held once a year, the event sees over 4,000 fursuited visitors from around the world descend on a hotel or convention center somewhere in the Midwest, many of whom engage in role-playing as anthropomorphic animals while dressed in head-to-toe fursuits. In the weeks that followed, the Rosemont Police Department was bolstered by a variety of state and federal law enforcement officers who assisted them in the launch of one of the largest investigations in the department's history. Yet through no fault of their own, and despite having access to all the money and federal assistance they could ask for, Rosemont PD were unable to follow up on any serious leads and were completely at a loss for a suspect. An incident report filed by the Rosemont Police Department shows the case was assigned to a detective on December 29th of that year and closed on July 29th, 2015. Over a year and a half of solid investigation yielded nothing of note. And that's okay for some of the people who survived that night, who laughed the whole thing off as a dumb prank. But others see the incident for what it really was, a failed attempt to gas them while they slept, and mull over the many unanswered questions that remain. Who would have done it? Was it a furry from the inside who was looking... The Great Furry Attacks of 2013. Sonia Rodriguez with the 3 says, Pradeep ASMR, by the way, happy Valentine. Thank you, Sonia. I would pull Mr. Pradeep up, but... It's so funny. He's like licking his paws. He's licking his motherfucking paws, man. What is he doing? He's doing cat shit. Oh my god. It's like bringing his paw up over his ear. He's a full-on furry tonight. Really embracing his origins. Who would have done it? Was it a furry from the inside who was looking for attention in this sort of messed up way? Asked Tommy Bruce, a Maryland-based photographer who was caught up in the gas attack. Tommy managed to grab his camera before he was evacuated from the hotel, and some of the photos he took of the aftermath are still available online. Most tinged with the red and blue lights of attending emergency vehicles, but all show some degree of panic and chaos. One image shows a woman on a gurney being wheeled into the back of an ambulance. Another shows a man gasping for breath as he clings to someone in a white fursuit for support. After the firefighters who arrived at the scene that night began to smell the chlorine, they used a kind of gas detection device to lead them to the source of the highly poisonous fumes. Wearing their respirators and heavy oxygen tanks, they followed the readouts of their sophisticated gas detection device to the 9th floor of the Hyatt Regency, where the device recorded extremely toxic, concentrated levels of chlorine gas. So much so that the readouts on their devices were detecting double the amount of chlorine required to cause some pretty nasty, serious respiratory disease, and an amount that would be fatal to those with already weakened lungs. But it was only when the firefighters reached a stairwell leading from the 9th to the 10th floor that they found the source of the gas attacks. Lying on the stairs was a white powdery substance, along with a broken mason jar, and to their horror, they noticed that there was a yellow-green liquid actually dripping down the walls. Given this was a situation far worse than they'd initially anticipated, they backed off until hazmat technicians could arrive with their even thicker, more durable protective clothing. Shit. Sorry. Even thicker protective clothing. Kate, Kathleen, you're 30 and you've never been drunk? Interesting. You must be a goddamn saint. Wait, where's thicker at? What the fuck was I saying? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. There we go. Am I sick? I don't know. I don't think so. I might be a little bit dehydrated, but the reason is I keep like I said, I keep fucking hearing like a click in my nose from my sinuses where I think like music, just like music, Jesus, mucus is fucking caught in my nose. It might, yeah, allergies. I mean, I don't really think I have allergies, but I mean, I do have Pradeep. And I swear to fucking God, like, his hair is everywhere. And then sometimes I may or may not, like, rub my face on him from time to time. Yeah, the neti pot. Yeah, that's actually smart. Oh, fuck, I should do that before I read, but I just, like, worry that the click that I'm hearing, like, because you know how sometimes you can, like, okay, take your fingers after this, close your ears, and then now most of the sounds you hear are sort of things that bang around within your sinuses, right? Like within your nose, sinuses, within the brain area. Like it's like you're more prone to hearing the sounds that occur with the inside of your skull that are resonating to your ears. But this one is kind of like resonating within my nostril area, and normally I can clear it out, or like perhaps I have like a humidifier. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get a humidifier after this. Are humidifiers loud? Do you know if they're loud or not? Pick my nose. No, I like fucking trying to clear it out and shit. I can't do it. Alright, whatever. Anyways. You can get quiet ones? Okay. That would be sick. You either come in the sink or sink in the cum. And that's what's happened to me right now. Given this was a situation far worse than they'd initially anticipated, they backed off until hazmat technicians could arrive with their even thicker, more durable protective clothing. Samples taken from the scene proved impossible to analyze, but from the smell and the coloration of the liquid present, it's safe to assume that someone manufactured or obtained highly concentrated chlorine powder, then mixed it with some kind of liquid in order for it to form a gas. To make things worse, that same year the FBI and Pittsburgh police investigated a string of social media posts that threatened the furry convention with violence, including the use of bullets and bombs. Although no one was actually arrested as a result of the inquiries in the aftermath of the gas attack, it just goes to show you that the list of suspects in the case must have been a mile long. Hi, my name is Sarah with a 5. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Sorry, I literally got like a fucking Perdip hair stuck in my throat. Dude, cat hair is fucking everywhere. It's annoying as shit. That calls for a sea shanty. Well, I got cat hair stuck in me throat. I hope I don't sink in me boat. It's getting kinda cold, I better put on my coat. I'm good at basketball, but I don't want to gloat. Hey, 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 oh, 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 hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Vixa with that 5 says, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the carpet sample furry. He's every bad stereotype combined. Happy Valentine's Day. What's the carpet sample furry? I've never heard of that. Sea shanty. Alexander Steele, you've never heard of a sea shanty? I got a furry, got a fur ball in his throat. Fur balls. Some say the chlorine incident at Midwest Fur Fest has had wait, fuck. What the fuck? FBI actually arrested her. He takes the carpet samples and glued them to his fursuit so he doesn't have to pay for the fur. Oh, is it scary or what? Although no one was actually arrested as a result of the inquiries in the aftermath of the gas attack, it just goes to show that the list of suspects in the case must have been a mile long, considering the extensive online Considering the extensive online threats that FurFest received. Some say the chlorine incident at Midwest Fur Fest has had a lasting impact in ways that aren't always obvious to the observer. Following the 2014 gas attack, convention attendees noticed a higher police presence at AC Castillo with the 2 says, love your voice and happy Valentine's, Bennikins. Oh, Happy Valentine's Day. Do I play video games? I do, yeah. I played through Little Nightmares 2 recently, and it was fun. And I downloaded, due to the sea shanties, I've been inspired to download Sea of Thieves. So I'm going to give that a whirl. I always enjoyed Wind Waker growing up, and that was a lot of fun. Sailing out in the open oceans. Following the 2014 gas attack, convention attendees noticed a higher police presence at Fuck, dude, why do I see revenue, not venues. Following the 2014 gas attack, convention attendees noticed a higher police presence at venues, and some people opted not to stay at the Hyatt Regency because they were concerned about the potential for another attack at the convention's main grounds. One furry in particular also packed a rebreather to the following year's events, a device that recycles oxygen in case it becomes restricted, and not even for personal use. The girlfriend uses a wheelchair, and if there was another incident, she might not be able to escape so easily. What makes it all the more difficult for some survivors is that the person who committed such an atrocious act has never been caught. For all we know, the same perpetrator could be out there right now, planning an event For all we know, the same perpetrator could be out there right now, planning an even larger attack in the knowledge that their test method was some sort. For all we know, the same perpetrator could be out there right now, planning an even larger attack in the knowledge that their test method was somewhat successful. No matter how unusual a person's social life may be, there's no reason to harm them, especially when they're not harming anyone else in the first place. And it takes a really sick individual to think up chlorine gas as a way of terrorizing and murdering their fellow man. We can only pray that this same gas attacker doesn't try something even bigger in the future, releasing an even higher dose of gas into a confined space, because if they do, it might be a lot more than 19 that end up in the hospital, and a happy little furry convention might more resemble the Western Front in 1916, as opposed to some wholesome, innocent fun. Jesus, I feel like that last sentence almost like comes off as a threat to by the author there, but I understand where they're coming from. Like, maybe next time you won't be so lucky, furries. Ah! All right, we have finished the stories. What's your fursona name? What is my fursona name? Galaga. Or Stinky. Any glitch in the Matrix story soon? Nothing planned. Oh, lordy, lord. Thank you, Hunter. Appreciate that. Wholesome, innocent fun? Wholesome, innocent fun, furries? Pradeep. Yes, Pradeep is my fursona. I go back and forth between his body and mine. He's my spirit animal. Yandere stories? Maybe soon, who knows? Got a lot of stalker stories that are pretty much the same thing. There's a whole playlist on stalker stories. Don't get your hair stuck in your throat. 69 mistakes on Valentine's Day? You're kidding me. That's crazy, dude. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. And if you want to get a story... Wait, fuck. I don't know why I jumped to that. And if you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join a live stream to catch an invite to my Discord. And if you want to support me even more, Grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data. Located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. Blah, blah, blah. What do I say, guys? What do I say? Don't choke on it. Don't choke on that furry tail. Don't let the boogeyman boogie your man. And the best Valentine's gift is, yeah. And remember, ooh woo, don't choke on cat hair. Booty Cheeks 420, hell yeah. Everyone, have a great day. Kuru, you've committed a sin. What's new? Let's get furried. Say down in the bayou in a gritty. Down in the bayou. Down in the bayou. Down in the bayou. And remember, kids, always use protection. That's smart. Don't get the drip slip. There you go. We'll say it. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, don't get the drip slip. Alright. We done did it. We done made it. I'm actually really excited for this video. I just feel like it's a different topic. I feel like all the stories were interesting. So it will be out first on Patreon. It's $1 a month over there, or $10.08 for a year. It's pretty solid for all that content. And ad-free, I might add. And yeah, that's pretty badass. And then the video itself will be out tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Monday? Yeah, tomorrow, Monday the 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to set your notification bells to be ready to rock and roll. Or you can follow me on social media at Let's Read Creepy on Twitter, at Let's Read.official on YouTube. Or no, Jesus Christ, at Let's Read.official on Instagram. You guys already follow me on YouTube. And you can join the Discord, chat with everybody, be friends there, but also be notified of all the new shit because it does like an automatic thing, which is cool. And those Discord notifications are like always on, which is sweet. And yeah, thanks for hanging around. Thank you guys so much for the support and love. As always, I appreciate it. I'll be back live streaming again on Tuesday night, so stick around for that. Keep you up to date on social media. Stay chill. Those down in the south who have never seen a drop of snow before. Just a crumb of snow, please, sir. Oh, please. But, yeah. Adios, friends. Love ya. And be my Valentine.